An unprecedented move is the only way that I can describe about what happened with Saudi Arabia and their central bank. Let's discuss that and silver as we explore. The only thing that would be more unprecedented would be if the Saudi central bank actually bought physical silver. And many people feel that's exactly what the Central Bank of Russia has done. But in this case, it is something that may be even more important with regards to the price of silver, more so than what they actually are doing here. And that is they have just exposed themselves to silver ETFs. That's the SLV, also some positions in the SIL as well. And this is important not so much because of the fact that they bought this. It is about who it was. It wasn't just some Saudi bank that has done this. In fact, when you take a look at the whole list, and it's pretty amazing, SR Rocco report has first shared this information, looking at the SLV iShares Silver Trust stock, the stock price, institutional ownership, and shareholders report that was released on the August of 21st, that on the 14th of August, Saudi Central Bank had put a very large position in to the SLV. Now, let's take a look at the people or the organizations who have been accumulating the SLV's shares of silver for quite some time. We have Morgan Stanley being number one, a huge institution for sure, with 12,296,777 shares. They own 9.28% of all the shares out there. By far the largest that we can see there. The percentage of shares have gone up there. And it's pretty wild to see. Of course, this shares percentage is kind of strange because they're the largest holder, but some of these other show these larger numbers. I'm not sure exactly what that's about. For instance, the Stifel Financial Group has 66.99% of shares, which is kind of strange because they only own 1.4 million shares. So any other large holders are the Royal Bank of Canada, not to be confused with the Central Bank of Canada. This is a commercial institution. They own the fourth largest. They've got 2.67 million shares. So the Saudi Central Bank came in big time with a huge investment with 932,000 shares. Far down the list, but could this just be the beginning? I'm not sure. But remember, this is not physical silver ownership. I want to make that abundantly clear so people understand. It is merely exposure to silver's price, which again, remember, is probably even a bigger deal with regards to how that could affect the price of silver. And that is something that it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out as this information gets digested over the weekend, and we see how the markets are moving here. In fact, I'm recording this before the markets open, so it'll be very interesting to see how the price of silver will be affected by this. It may not be a whole lot at first, but if the central bank continues to accumulate shares of it, well, it'll be very fascinating to see how that plays out. There's a X poster here, Honza Cerny, if I'm pronouncing that right, or Kearney, talking about what has happened there in its second quarter 2025 13F filing. It disclosed 932,000 shares of SLV. That's about $30.6 million worth, and 203,700 shares of the SIL, which is $9.8 million worth. There's a clear signal that they're saying that's on the radar. Now, a 13F equals an investment portfolio filing, not official FX shares. It's unusual to see a central bank directly exposed to silver through ETFs. And that is something that is contributing to the demand of silver. When we see the industrial demand hit a record of 680.5 million ounces in 2024, which is the fourth year in a row. And we know that the drivers for that are solar PV, electronics, autos, and grids. But why not a commercial bank? Why a central bank is doing this? Something is happening here. And could we see a trend of other central banks doing the same thing? And in a way, it may make sense for them because to actually store physical silver may not be worth it. The ROI may not be worth it to accumulate all that silver, paying a premium for it and storing it. By the way, stay tuned because I'm going to be talking about some silver that I got for under spot, and you're not going to believe what it is from my local coin shop. I always encourage people to shop at their local coin shop, but buy online as well too. Shop around for some of the better deals out there, but also look at customer service. Summit Metals is making a name for themselves with great customer service. So check out summitmetals.com and elevate your wealth with Summit Metals. So Saudi Arabia is making this large move. Pretty much unprecedented. This is something else to see this happen here. And their entry into the SLV and SIL is symbolic. He continues with another posting here, Hans is. It's now on the radar of big money. Fundamentally, silver isn't cheap gold. It's really the metal of electrification, they're saying here. And essentially, it is not just electrification. It's used in over 10,000 use cases. But obviously, it is the most conductive metal on the planet. No question about it. It is the most reflective metal on the planet. And it is a remarkable metal. It can be finished in a lot of different ways, styles, and forms. But the nice desert nation of Saudi Arabia indeed is acting and accumulating silver ETFs and exposing themselves to it as a central bank. Will more central banks follow? That is the real question. If they do, well, I'll tell you what, that's going to be a new edge that definitely could influence the price of silver. Now, there's another report here from Silver Academy that talks about this as well. Forget grandma's candlesticks. Today's silver has a secret identity. Traditionally snubbed as gold's underdog cousin, silver is now living large and both as a monetary fallback, which is what the Saudi central bank is doing, and the industrial world. Solar panels can't live without it. Militaries are upgrading with it, and electronics gobble it. And silver batteries are powering up next-gen gadgets, from Samsung to electric rosaries. Meanwhile, structural deficits are piling up for the fifth year in a row, with supply racing behind surging demand. No question about that. And so that's what Saudi Arabia is doing, and it's pretty wild to see them making this large purchase. And it'll be very fascinating to see how this plays out with Saudi Arabia and other central banks. And why did they do it? And we'd love to know the reason as to why this has occurred. You don't see that a whole lot. We understand why commercial institutions may do it. The big bullion banks, they own the vast majority of the shares of the SLV. But of course, seeing this report really kind of puts into perspective a new understanding in terms of who is involved in this, like Jane Street Group LLC, Ameriprise Financial, and Royal Bank of Canada, as I mentioned, Advisor Group Holdings, Tudor Investments, Guggenheim Capital as well. Now remember, the J.P. Morgan is the largest custodian, but does not necessarily mean they're the largest holder, as we don't see them on this list, on this top list here for these institutions or groups. But the amount of shares, for sure, is fundamentally huge. Morgan Stanley being the biggest player here involved with this shareholding. But you put in a large institution like the Saudi Central Bank, if you get a few more of those that get around the same amount, well, look at that. You've really, just even one more, I think. Or if Saudi Arabia, a central bank, were to buy more of these, then I think you're talking about a game changer, where essentially they're going in and going long. Central banks typically do that. Central banks are not just playing the markets. They buy to hold, essentially. So it would be unusual for them to just sell this position very quickly, even though there's less risk in terms of premiums and the like. But 932 right at the outset in one day is a big move. These holdings and these holders like Morgan Stanley, this 17.2 million shares were not just accumulated overnight. Indeed. So this is why the Saudi Central Bank accumulation is such a big deal. Now let me show you the silver I got. Maybe by mistake, I might need to talk to my local coin shop about this. Maybe I'm misquoting, but I want to see. I got this silver here for under spot And these are not 10th ounce pieces. No, indeed, they are not. These are 20th of an ounce silver pieces from Prospector Gold Gems rounds, designed by Daniel Carr, minted, I think, at the Moonlight Mint there. And these are brand new. This here is pure silver 999, 0.05 troy ounces. Right there, Prospector Gold Gems name on there for 2025 out of Colorado. And these are interesting. Obviously, they're minted every year, not uncommon, but still to be able to see this little prospector here in silver, it's such a small little tiny piece with a smooth edge. It's kind of cool to add these to the stack. If you can get fractional silver under spot, why not? I got these, I think, for $3. I might need to get my local coin shop. I remember maybe they charged me $3.50 for these two, but even if that would be under spot price with where the spot price is going these days. And I didn't really think much. I didn't bat an eye because I got that in combination with some other silver too. But I remember that being the quote. I might have to pay them because they may have done that by mistake. It's always good to develop a relationship with your local coin shop. And if there's an error in your favor, make sure you work to make it right. So I may owe them a bit of money for that because I think it would be highly unusual to get something like this, especially a fractional for under spot. But that's one of the reasons why I like Constitutional, because you can get that for right around spot price or a little under these days regularly. It's a good time to be buying that kind of silver, no question about it. So there you have it. Fascinating. Let me know what your thoughts are about what Saudi Arabia is doing. Is this just the beginning? And is this setting a new trend? Let me know in the comment section down below. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.